Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Col Tej Tikoo, and Colonel Saab and I are going to talk about Pakistan's being in denial for how long. And this is something that we are going to start from Pahalgam, because some of the things that we did not know happen in the background is also going to be discussed. Let's welcome Col Tej Tikoo Saab. Namaskar, Sirji. How are you?
Thank you very much, Saab. Nice to be back on your podcast. I hope you are all right. We are fine here in India. We are having some rain now after a very hot spell. So, and you know what happens when rain comes, they come in a deluge. And so you see most of the mountainous area, you have landslides and, all kinds of things. But I think rain is always welcome after a big hot summer.
Yes, indeed. Sir, I want to take you back to Pahalgam. So clearly there was a security hole identified, but this has been happening because even on the day of oath taking of this Modi government, there was something that happened in Jammu. So we knew that some areas where the army was probably redeployed to some other areas, there were some, let's say, holes. Now that was being exploited. But once Pahalgam happened, the message was clear. India is not going to sit quiet. It's going to hit somewhere. I would like to take us back to that time. How did India go about, deciding how to, act on this? And then afterward, the first thing that happened was the IWT, tribunal position that changed from India. But there must have been some sort of a series of moves that India would have done. Let's start from there. Viewers will go to, from there, we'll come all the way up to the present. So stay tuned till the end. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Saab. Thanks once again. Let's first talk about Pahalgam. The point about Pahalgam is that Pahalgam is not something that happened out of the blue. Pakistan's strategy of using its various radical groups to create problems for India, to trouble India, to bleed us to 1,000 cuts and all that, the theory that has been, hashed and rehashed and rehashed millions of times ever since 1990, I would say. And all that, it just continues. And now, why did Pahalgam happen, and why did before that we had a lot of areas, untouched areas, actually not really untouched, but where we did not have much of a jihadi activity going on. That is south of 𝗲𝗚, and particularly too far away into the east, northeast and east, that is in the Jammu region. And I have spoken about that some time back. That is because of the damage that jihadis could inflict on Indian forces. There was only because the terrain is such, and the forces deployment, for various reasons which I have spoken earlier, attracted that kind of a thing. The aim was not to create anything else except to make the jihadi presence felt in an area which India thought was secure till then. It is still secure, it's not all that bad. But since they could not do much in Kashmir Valley, and so they had to make their presence felt, because if there is no jihadi activity for 5-6 months, then automatically, people in their own country and their proxies in Kashmir, there are still many of them there, will think that, Pakistan has given up and things like that. So these things are done only for the sake of making your presence felt in a war that they have inflicted on India for last so many years. But Pahalgam was a different matter altogether. Pahalgam was the first major attack after we have this madrasa qualified Hafiz as the chief of the Pakistani army. And I think I have discussed this before also. I think the writing was very much on the wall when he spoke against Hindus, against India, in favor of the two nation theory, and he insisted that the future generations of Pakistani children must be brought up to date on the history of Pakistan. But unfortunate part is that whatever is being taught in Pakistan is completely one-sided, and many people have like 𝗏𝗏𝗏, their own physicist, 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦, and many others have in their own country have spoken about what is being taught in Pakistani schools, and to impressionable minds who carry this anti-India, anti-Hindu, hate India, this theory in their head, and that's what happens when they reach 18, 19 years old, and they implement it after having been trained by the same army. So now Pahalgam was in many ways much more different than many others. In many other places, many other attacks, whether it was on Amarnath Yatra route, that was also against Hindus, because only Hindus go for Amarnath Yatra, maybe some non-Hindus also. But whenever killings took place, sometimes it was 4, 5, sometimes it was very heavy, 16, 17, sometimes it was even 20, over 20. So most of the time, it is the Hindus who were killed, and then the messaging was quite clear that no matter what you do, you are going to pay with your lives if you go to Hindu pilgrimage sites, and basically it was also against Indian Hindu. But Pahalgam was very different, because it never happened before that people were asked to identify themselves, identify their faith, and then they were shot at point blank range. It was extremely horrifying scene. And as we know that whatever, many people have already been arrested. There are 2 brothers who were arrested in Kashmir recently, and they are the ones who had actively supported them, provided them arms, and not arms, but they had kept their arms with them. When the actual hitting party was conducting reconnaissance, and then they provided them food and shelter, they gave them intelligence, and many others were involved. Now, when the new chief comes in, every chief in the Pakistani army, you have to understand, and we Indians have to understand, every chief who comes and gains an upper hand over political system, and most of them ultimately do, except in times of Imran Khan. That is why he is in jail. Otherwise, whenever some new Pakistani chief comes up, depending on his own radicalized mind, he will do something in Kashmir, because that is the ultimate test of an army man there, that get hold of Kashmir. Whether it was Musharraf through Kargil, whether it was Zia-ul-Haq through creating an insurgency which we are still paying for, or now Asim Munir, only the tactics and strategy changes, and therefore to Indian security forces, it was much of a big revelation actually, that despite the fact that so much has been done in Kashmir, so much money has poured, so much development has taken place, so much effort has been put in changing the mindset of the people, yet there are people who collaborated with them, and so many innocent lives were lost in such a horrifying manner. Of course, we don't expect Pakistan to say that we have done it, but it was coming. What Pakistan perhaps did not realize, and I think India also perhaps did not go whole hog. Now I'll talk on this. Firstly, Pakistan perhaps knew that India will going to retaliate, and that is what actually was the policy of General Munir. But the Pakistan Army chief perhaps did not understand, did not even expect Indian psyche, in the Indian government, what action government of India, will it go whole hog, will it go and only hit the terrorist sites, jihadi sites, their campsites, their training areas, their launch pads. They were not sure about it, and perhaps they miscalculated that yes, India is definitely going to hit back, but we have the ability to absorb that shock. They perhaps thought that India will hit at, there are almost about a huge number of militant training, jihadi training camps in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and they expected these to be hit, and there were almost 5 of them that we hit in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. But they never perhaps thought that in the heart of Punjab, like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Bahawalpur, the terrorist camps should be had, because they are in the midst of population centers and protected by huge army cantonments. So not surely Mudit-ke, but definitely Bahawalpur. And therefore, I think that there Pakistan miscalculated. And that is why you will see that after Pahalgam, when India hit back, they made it very clear that we are only going to hit at the jihadi training centers. And they hit at Mudit-ke, they hit at Bahawalpur, they hit in 5 camps. There were 4 camps in Punjab and 5 camps in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which were hit. And I think that came as a surprise. That is why you will see the reaction of Pakistan is, what did they do? The corps commander, I think it was a corps commander, because there was a lieutenant general in Bahawalpur, and there was Bahawalpur, is a very big cantonment. One of the Pakistani corps is located there. They came, he was present in the Namaz-e-Janaza, the DIG of the local area was present there. There were so many army people who were saluting the dead bodies where they were taken with. Of course, because it happened so suddenly that they did not know how to react. So the government got involved. And after all, we should not forget that they have many times, Musharraf announced it many times, that they are our strategic assets. Pakistan government has always said it, military has always said it, that these militant organizations are our strategic assets against India. And when they were hit, obviously Pakistan army could not have stayed back. They had to show to the world that yes, they, at least their own people, to the radical Islamists, that we are with you. The second reason is this, that in Pakistan, who are the rulers? Why does Pakistan army always override the popular sentiment? There is a reason. Pakistan army has got one big segment of people with it always, and that is the Islamic radical parties. They are always with Pakistan. They were, especially after 𝗤𝗟𝗪 came to power, not before that. After 𝗤𝗟𝗪 came to power, they became the allies, Pakistan army, a radical Islamist party. So they are always together. Now, out of the remaining political parties, the main 2 political parties were Nawaz Sharif, Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, and Benazir Bhutto PPP, or Zulfikar Ali Bhutto PPP. They would fight with each other. Therefore, one would be left out, and the other one would join the army and radical parties and govern Pakistan. That is how the system worked till Imran Khan came. Now, Imran Khan changed the whole thing, but in his case, what he did was he did not go along with the army. He said, no, let it be a proper political fight. I am not going to take the diktat of the army. Though, let's not forget that Imran Khan also came. He was called the selected prime minister. He also came because of the good wishes and the, patronization of Pakistan army itself. But later he realized that people are with me, and Pakistan army should stick to the barracks and let me govern, and that is where the clash took place. So invariably, Imran Khan went away, and America also played this role. We know it very well because he went to Russia while it had just launched a war against Ukraine. America did not like it. There are many other reasons why they did not like it. The fact is this, that in Pakistan, there was no way they could have avoided attending the Namaz-e-Janaza when so many jihadis got killed in Bahawalpur and Mudit-ke, because they are their allies. Now, should Pakistan have retaliated and invited wrath of India? They must have discussed this, sure. But that is where China comes into play. And we all know that I hope you heard the press conference, not the press conference, address of the Deputy Chief of the Army Staff, Rahul Singh, to the 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏 congregation in Delhi. Many things came out in that we had not known till now. What he basically said, that it was China and Pakistan fighting against India, because most of the things came from China. And what is even worse, the real-time intelligence to them was provided by China. And if you have not seen that speech by the Deputy Chief, please listen to it. It's revealing. Therefore, when so Pakistan had to do something, so it attacked our. They didn't have any. We don't have any jihadi training camps in India, so they attacked civilian targets. They attacked our military targets. But we all know that what happened to them. And when India then hit back, because they had hit at us, they had hit at targets which had nothing to do with terrorism. Then India, when it hit back, you know what happened. Many of their centers, Noor Khan had a problem, Kirana Hills had a problem, Sargodha, all these places were so badly damaged that Pakistan was compelled to ask for a ceasefire. It's a different matter that the manner in which the ceasefire came into effect, that took many Indians totally by surprise. But now, many months after the event, we know what exactly happened and how Pakistan really fell on its knees. And so I would say that Pakistan would have, the problem with Pakistan is it scares the world by saying that we are going to launch a nuclear attack. And that is something which India cannot accept, because under the threat of nuclear blackmail, in that case, should we sit idle, not do anything? That's not possible. So that we have crossed that line, that 𝗥𝗍𝗪𝗍𝗏 that we have set. India has ensured that anybody who crosses the 𝗥𝗍𝗪𝗍𝗏, he will have to pay the price. I think we made Pakistan pay the price. Now, there's another angle, I wanted to discuss. I hope you read the report by the French army and their intelligence agencies. They said that no Rafale was lost. It was because China created this through its huge intelligence setup and diplomatic channels. From first day onward, they said India has lost 5. Somebody said 6. Somebody said 3. Somebody said something. It was only to undermine the French Rafale. And because Indonesia is about to order, I think they are already in the process of ordering this Rafale, and China was insisting on Indonesia that they should instead order for its J-10 and J-17. So it was more to do with commerce than the real thing. And as far as Pakistani losses are concerned, not India is not saying it, but the world is saying it. Many think tanks have already said that they lost few Mirages, they lost their radar side, they lost one 𝗏𝗏 also. Lot of damage was done. And no matter Pakistan DGMO straightway said that we want to have peace, please stop the war. India, of course, said okay, because we have done what we wanted to do, and we had also told you that we'll be hitting terrorist sites. You are the ones who hit our civilian targets and military targets, which were totally, completely neutralized by us. And so we are prepared. But the manner in which it was done, the manner in which the President of the United States, Donald Trump, announced it before India could announce, that created a problem for the government in India. Now, the denial of Pakistan, the biggest denial of Pakistan is when you make their army chief the field marshal. That is a big problem, because now what you are trying to tell the whole world is that actually our army chief has won this 2 days war. And it is a very strangest thing if you see who are the people who have got this coveted rank. There were few in German army, and you know what German army did till their push into Russia was started reversing. There were few field marshals there. There were few in British army, General Auchinleck, Field Marshal Montgomery, Field Marshal Bill Slim, so many of them, but they had a huge military record, huge record of military successes and brilliant operations behind them, and they became chief. Even in our own country, we had the first chief, General Cariappa, who was made field marshal many years after he had retired, and Sam, created a military history by ensuring that Pakistan is broken into 2 parts, which of course Pakistan denies even today. So, but why did General Munir become a field? There is just 2 reasons. One, they wanted to convey to the world that we achieved a big victory over India, and that's why he was made a field marshal. And secondly, other ulterior motive was to turn the popular sentiment away from Imran Khan towards General Munir. Initially, they seem to have succeeded, but if you see the latest reports coming from Pakistan, I think they are going to be in trouble because Northwest Frontier Province, the the PTI government is there. Yesterday, they have given clear warnings. Balochis are not too happy, and almost every second there are huge attacks. And I'm not very sure whether this denial will have any meaning as far as the Pakistani popular sentiment is concerned. They can keep shouting till cows come home, but the whole world knows what exactly happened. You see, why am I saying that the whole world knows? Because every single war in today's world involves the investment, loss or gain of billions and billions of dollars. So there are many agencies at work to dissect what happened in the war, and they will see what the performance of both the weapons and those who were using that weapon. So it is not something that is going to remain hidden from anyone, because this will come out. After all, military industrial complex is so huge. Hundreds of billions of dollars are worth of equipment is sold every single day. So I would say that slowly, when this Pakistani Josh of these radical Islamic parties and all starts diluting, Pakistan is going to have trouble. Also, I would like to say the Bilawal Bhutto's statement a few days back that we are prepared to hand over �爾Sayyid to India. I mean, this is something which is completely reverse of what he had said. He had said a few days back, I mean, during the Op-Sindoor, that if India stops waters coming in Indus River, will make Indians bleed so much that the Indus water will turn red. And it was done at 𝗥𝗘, where 𝗥𝗘 is a very important town on Indus in Pakistan. And immediately after that, India replied by saying that it is now held in abeyance and we will do what we need to do without violating the international arbitration award on these rivers. So my point is this, that Pakistan is in a state of denial, definitely, but many people will not accept it. Their own people will not accept it. However, I want to add one very important point. That is, in today's world, big powers use proxies to fight wars against their enemies. And it is here that Pakistan's location and its willingness to do others' bidding as long as it harms India comes into play. Therefore, if China uses, and I totally agree with the Deputy Chief of the Army Staff who said that Pakistan fought against us with a borrowed knife. He was referring to China. China was wanting to use Pakistan as a proxy to test its weapons and equipment against India. But India was clever enough to ensure that this is not prolonged. Secondly, even America, America called General Munir for a cup of lunch or whatever in White House. That was only to ensure that it doesn't help Iran when America is bombing the Ayatollahs there. And Pakistan readily went and agreed to have a lunch and all that, because they think that Pakistan interest is this, that if America becomes its friend and it weans away America from India, though India is not that dependent on America. So against it, Pakistan's only aim is anti-India. So it feels that anyone can use it as long as it helps in anti-India tirade, anti-India objectives. But Pakistan will, in due course of time, realize that being used as a proxy, because it has certain strategic, geographical advantage, will not last for too long, and ultimately it will be they who will have to pay the price for it.
Thank you so much, sir. One question for you is A.Q. Khan. After A.Q. Khan kind of got out of their nuclear program, because at one point, I think US said this guy has to go because proof of his having sold his technology to many countries emerged. And so after that, how capable is the nuclear program in Pakistan? I mean, without handholding from China or North Korea, Can they do it on their own?
See, let's not forget that when China has played a big role into it in producing Pakistani nuclear weapon, and I'm forgetting the name of an American, very important American man who said that if you take out the Chinese assistance, that the assistance that China gave to Pakistan in manufacturing nuclear weapon, there'll be nothing left of Pakistan nuclear. So, and in that period also, it is not that America did not know that they are making nuclear weapon. After all, such a watch is being kept on such activity. America allowed itself, Pakistan, to go ahead with it because it had its own problem. It was a strategic ally in the war against terror, and it provided access to Nixon to go to China. It was a bridge between China and America in the days when America felt that China needs to be taken out of its isolation, brought out into the open world. That will be good for the world. That will be good for America. And and India was seen as an ally of Russia, Soviet Union before that. So I think that Pakistan definitely, as per the 𝗟𝗡𝗄 report, they have about 170 nuclear warheads, and I don't disbelieve this. That I think it has got. It is true that China helped it and many other nations helped in the process, but they do have nuclear weapons, and they are using the blackmail of nuclear weapons to scare Americans. At least recently, also they did it. So I would say that they have nuclear weapons, and in fact, the near strike on Kirana Hills and what the military, the Air Force Operations Director General said that day, I think that should be hint enough to accept that Pakistan has got nuclear weapons. How it got, why it got, who all helped it, whole world knows about it. Of course, it's a different matter that Ayub Khan was running an international nuclear Walmart and he had to be thrown out. In Pakistan, for money, they do everything. They hid Osama bin Laden for 6 years, and when they were offered money, and they all got sold, they gave them up. And recently, when Bilawal said that we are prepared to hand over 𝗲𝗡, I won't be surprised if 𝗲𝗡 is handed over to India. In any case,
do we need them, sir? Do we need them? Can't we take them out anytime?
No, we won't accept. We won't accept it because why he is, there's another angle to it. Because if he hands over 𝗲𝗡 and India said, okay, this is the safest place for him. Otherwise, the 𝗥𝗘𝗏 will reach him also in a couple of days' time, maybe in a month's time. So, as far as Azhar Masood is concerned, I have said this at the time of Balakot strike, and I said it on the national television, that Azhar Mahmood got killed in Balakot strike. Nobody believed me. Perhaps, maybe I am wrong, but I am still convinced that Azhar Masood died in that. He was killed in that strike. And I have reasons to believe that. So as far as Azhar Masood is concerned, let's forget about him. But 𝗲𝗡 is, his time is running out because his closest people have been killed by these unknown gunmen, and who these unknown gunmen are, we don't know, and they will reach him also. So whether Bhutto says it or does not say it, it makes no difference. But what I'm trying to say is the desperation of Pakistanis. They even the most important strategic asset they are willing to sell if it helps them gain some little bit of power and legitimacy.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a couple of questions from our viewers. Let's take them. Mangan Ranga wants to know, Namaste, while the quality of arms are important, wouldn't you agree that our brave forces too were extremely skilled to get the kind of result they achieved against Pakistan?
I mean, you are asking this question from a wrong man. I have spent more than 3.5 decades in the Indian Army, so if I praise Indian Army, it might appear that I am praising myself. But the fact is that we have an old professional Indian Army. We are apolitical, we are completely professional, and we have a long history of professional excellence. In fact, if you see any Indian institutions, it is the most respected institution, and it has always delivered. So I would say that we have particularly in our leadership, there is enormous depth. And so you have seen what happened in the skies, and you have seen what only one arm was actually used. That was the air defense regiment, and you know what happened. Not a single drone was allowed to hit any. Forget about strategic, even the tactical target. None of was allowed to hit. And you know what happened. What we did with Noor Khan and Kirana and Sargodha and all these places, we nearly destroyed them. So I would say yes, I have full faith in the capabilities, skill, and professional acumen of Indian Army, and they will continue to rise to the occasion. They will continue to defend the nation, like all good professional political armies. Yes, you are right. I totally agree with you. They are totally skillful.
Colonel Tikoo, last question. In the IWT implementation now, what is happening? India is allowing some water to flow or holding it back? What is the status now?
No, what is it that we have done? We have held it in abeyance. That means, firstly, the Indus Water Treaty Award will not be implemented in the manner in which it has been framed. But that is not going to happen today. What is really happening? Please, let's take the western rivers. Sindh, Chenab, and Sindh, Jhelum, and Chenab. We were not allowed to even use the 20% water which the IWT allows us to use, because they will go to arbitration court, they will go to World Bank and stop this. This happened in Ratle, this happened in many other places. Our dams remained without water. Finally, in 2018, we won most of these cases. And then we started constructing this at Kishan Ganga, the water that will take it to Jhelum and, the two Uri projects. What we are doing is we are trying to use what is authorized, what we are entitled to. But holding back water is not the consideration. Particularly, holding back the water needs huge dams which we have not constructed. So this is as far as these are monsoon days. You must have seen yesterday there was a big flood in Pakistan in Indus. 75 people died. So there is huge amount of water which still goes, because we have not constructed the storage facilities even for the water, 20% water which we can use for irrigation, electricity, and navigation purpose. So we are trying to do it. We are behind by many years, but we're trying to do it. Now, as far as the eastern rivers are concerned, Satluj, Beas, and Ravi, even here, these waters are completely meant for us. Even here, we have not been able to use the complete waters. We allow it to flow to Pakistan because we did not build the storage facilities. Somewhere these storage facilities have been constructed. Somewhere they are still in the process of completion. Some they are now making fresh dams. So it's going to take time. But it is not something whose results will be visible now. Yes, when the lean season comes in the middle of summer, then you will see that there will be problem where they will be drought, because it is still another at least almost 8-9 months away. And during that period, India would have ensured that they create good storage capacity, and we don't have to give all the waters out of generosity to Pakistan, because these river water agreements between the upper riparian state and the lower riparian state, basically these are based on trust and faith. If you destroy their trust and faith, we are under no obligation to give them the water which they are not entitled to in the first place. So it is going to have effect, but it's going to have effect later, not today.
Thank you so much, Colonel Tikoo. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we'll be back with Colonel Saab very soon. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, 𝗟𝗏. God bless you. Thank you. Namaskar.